So, what is my perspective towards 2030 regarding the Arctic? Well, as I already mentioned in my essay, Arctic exceptionalism, referring to the idea of the Arctic being a special region because it remains outside global political confrontations, is right now melting away. For decades, the Arctic was a region of Cold War tension until the post-war environment opened the door for increasing cooperation as several governance bodies were created, including the Arctic Council, the Arctic Coastward Forum, and the Arctic Security Forces Roundtable, just to name a few. However, today this region is facing important geopolitical and physical changes and challenges that are having a considerable impact on the security of the region and that will be really important to address in the near future. But now I'm going to briefly explain how and why security in the Arctic is being threatened. Well, the Arctic is this region that includes all areas north of the Arctic Circle and the associated 8 Arctic states, which are Canada, Denmark, Finland, Iceland, Norway, Russia, Sweden, and the United States. As we may know, climate change is causing global temperatures to rise, but in this specific region, warming trends are stronger, leading to the continued loss of ice and the opening up of shipping lanes and resources. Currently, international disputes are focused on maritime boundary claims and economic rights because, of course, interested parties see these new shipping routes and undiscovered resources as a huge economic opportunity. And luckily or not, EU member states, NATO members, and governance bodies are having a say in these disputes and might complicate or not the geopolitics of the region. It all depends on the capacity they demonstrate to deal in the short and long term with different challenges. But in addition to the economic potential being debated, there is a major concern regarding the emerging militarization in the Arctic. Most of the Arctic states have been upgrading their military capabilities in the region, but Russia's military presence is of primary concern. For the past decade, Russia has been increasing its military capabilities with the deployment of radar systems, nuclear and non-nuclear icebreakers, and other important sophisticated land, air, and naval assets. There's a huge debate regarding Russia's military policy because it's still not clear whether its whole Arctic strategy is motivated by conflict or cooperation. But the thing is that whether Russia is motivated by the threat of conflict or opportunities for circumpolar cooperation, its strategy threatens the security of the Arctic when actors with declared interests in the region intervene. And we are not talking about just any kind of actor. In recent years, great powers such as Russia, China, and the United States have demonstrated their interests in this region. China, for example, wanting to be seen as a global power, is cooperating with Russia in the Arctic. And although this cooperation has remained primarily economic in nature, with relatively little collaboration in the political and security sphere, if their future military cooperation expands, it will certainly generate security implications for the West in 2030. For these reasons, there are concerns regarding the possibility of conflict in the region and military confrontation in the future. There is a risk that tensions will eventually spill over. The questions are, will Arctic cooperation be enough to address new security challenges? Will commitments made by the Arctic states to keep the Arctic a zone of peace and lasting engagement be enough? Regarding military concerns, there's a huge problem. Today's architecture of Arctic diplomacy is designed not to discuss hard security issues, and this highlights the need for a platform to discuss them. And 2 forums could be used for the same, the Arctic Council or the Security Forces Roundtable. But whatever forum is used to discuss Arctic security, all Arctic states and stakeholders should be included in such a forum, and it will be important to discuss more than military matters, since ecological, economic, and political military security in the Arctic are closely interconnected. And it's important to highlight this last point. Climate change is affecting the physical environment in the Arctic and is not only offering new economic opportunities and opening up areas to military activities. Climate change is also altering the whole security in the Arctic, affecting the livelihoods of people living in the region, and bringing up challenges on food, water, and health security. That's why research on current and new challenges in the region will become necessary, as well as cooperation on safety and other issues of common interest. Today, many working groups address ecological issues and concerns. But if you Google biggest challenges to face in 2030, climate change will certainly be on the list. That's why I think the biggest challenge relies on changing the course of these three great powers whose actions directed by interests in the region promote climate change, which in turn amplifies already complex security challenges and intertwines with social, political, and economic processes in the region. And I'd like to finish with an interesting quote I found while reading some news regarding the topic. In the end, perhaps humanity will accomplish its declared interests in the Arctic, although it will be a Pyrrhic victory because it will mean that climate change has reached a point of no return.